interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Yo, it's Remember the Show. Slick with the flows, where the sparring can go. Who's gonna be on, man, you never will know. Guess you better tune in, cause we live from Chicago. Belal Muhammad, that's the king of the tweets. Jason Anik looks like John, step his hands to his feet. Every Thursday, we gon' give you a treat. It's Remember the Show, hit play and repeat. And retweet, and retweet, and retweet. And retweet, it's Remember the Show, hit play and repeat.
What is up? Sorry for the slight delay. It is episode 47. Remember the Show. Dark last week. Had a little special Friday night episode. Dark last week because Bully's a TV star traveling to Vegas. Dark because John, Anik, and I went to Atlanta to watch the New England Patriots take care of business against the Atlanta Falcons. But nobody wants to hear about that. We're here for Belal Remember the Muhammad because we got a fight on the books. 28 sleeps from tonight. 4 weeks. Number 9th ranked UFC welterweight Belal Remember the name Muhammad and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Going to take that 5. Talk to me, Bully. I've been waiting to talk to you a long time about this. Let's go. We got one on the books. Talk to me. How it all go down? How you feeling? Let's go.
Excited. Very excited. You know, it's number 5 in the world. And he's one of those guys who's been in the top 5 for years. Like when you talk about him, everybody respects him. Everybody knows how good he is. So getting past him, that's going to give me the next level where it's like, all right, now it's like when you're talking about Usman, you're talking about who's fight him. I'm going to be the guy that they're going to be talking about.
I'm telling you. You know, it's interesting because we've obviously wanted to get a fight in the books, and you've been really willing to fight anyone coming down the pike as long as it makes sense and it's someone in your division. You know, some of these things that have come down the pike haven't really made sense. This makes a ton of sense on a number of different levels. So UFC Apex, December 18th. Certainly for the lanky striker Wonderboy, not necessarily as much room to dance around. I know for you, you don't really have a preference on the cage, huh? Cage size.
Yeah, for me, it doesn't. I mean, for this one, it's going to, I think it's better for me because you know how good he is with movement, how good he is with cutting angles, and for what I'm trying to implement, you got to get in it. You got to get in Wonderboy's face. So I'm liking this small Apex. I'm liking the last card of the year, ended with a bang. End of the year, number 5 in the world. So gonna end this year off good, man. Started the
anytime.
Year off.
Sorry to interrupt, but he says Jason should be in Bilal's corner anytime, and I'll pay my own way if they let an extra. Just give me the fight kit. I'm there. Anyway,
let's go.
I need to get a little more experience, but anytime. You kidding me? So certainly going to be the biggest fight in your MMA career, no question about it, and just everything that's been building for you. I'm excited for you, man. So for you, obviously, you fought Damian Maia. You fought big names. You've become a big name. When this fight sort of came about, are there nerves? Is it all excitement? What are your emotions like when this gets booked?
I mean, for me, it's more excitement, but it's like I don't think of anything until I get a contract. So I was sitting there like, you know, they're bringing up names to me. They're like, yeah, you want to do this? And then even like the day before where Leon pulled out and they brought up Wonderboy, but I didn't get no contract yet. And then I was like, yo, all right, let me hop on the Leon fight. Let me see if we get that one. And then, you know, I guess Leon's not trying to fight. And then Kamza like called me out on there. And I was like, oh, well, all right. And I'm still commenting on all these guys. So I'm like, I don't got no contract yet. Obviously, right. they'll ask you if you want to fight a guy. And I'm always going to say yeah to anybody. But I still don't even have a contract. But even for this one, I haven't signed one yet.
I hear you. Yeah, I didn't see it.
But they're announcing it. And I'm like, all right, so we're on 100%. So I'm guessing that if he said it, I said it. So now it's just waiting to get the signature down, but to finally have at least a date, if they're announcing it like that, I'm pretty sure it's finalized. So just to have a date and a name, that's a big thing for me. But so now that the name is Wonderboy is even a bigger thing for me because, like I said, that's one that's going to give me to the next level. That's a win. Like everybody could always talk. I still not getting the respect I deserve from the Maia win and the way I still beat him. And he was such a big name in the sport. So now to get this guy, there's nothing they can say after I beat this guy. They're like, I went against the best grappler in the division. Now I'm thinking this is 100% the best striker in the division. There's not a better striker in the division than him. So I get over both of those. That puts me in line and ready to fight a guy like Usman, who's good at putting both of those together. So I fought the best grappler, didn't take me down at all. Now I got to beat the best striker. I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to show you guys how good I am in striking, how good I am against guys with that type of style. Guys are afraid to fight this guy.
Exactly.
And for me,
Took
I'm a
the
guy
words out of my
that
mouth.
I figure guys out. I always figure out a way. Like there's different ways. I don't fight every guy the same way. When I fought Lyman Good, I fought him a different way. I had to use angles on him. I had to move back. This guy's a tank. He's standing in front of you the whole time. Then I fought Lima a different way. I had to stand in front of his face. I had to throw over 250 strikes against that guy, and I was in his face the whole time. Against Maya, it was a different way because the guy shot 25 times on you. So you have to fight a different way. And I proved that I could fight many different ways. So now I'm going to have to bring a different way to fight Wonderboy. And I'm going to show you guys how good I am at adapting to different fighters and different styles.
Well, I can't wait, and certainly not trying to leapfrog the main event between Derek Lewis and Chris Daukaus, but this billing certainly is the co-main event, period. If not, bump that thing down. It should be the main event. Muhammad. Well, I guess it would be build with Wonderboy in the front of it with that top ranking. But it's really fascinating, man. This division is going to look a lot different in January. I mean, even I know we'll get to the Bics with Chiesa, Brady. By the way, so I saw that down here. This is the NMF belt, the nicest motherfucker between you and Wonderboy. It's pretty funny. But did you see the face-off between Brady and Chiesa?
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
So I love the great sportsmanship between fighters, particularly after the bouts. But I just was fascinated, man, checking out each other's tattoos. I mean, it's like my guy Kevin Garnett is not. I mean, I just can't imagine Belal Muhammad, no matter who's in front of him, even if it's Wonderboy. I don't know, man. They were really happy to be there with each other and each other's company. Really nice face-off, no?
It's funny, yeah, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm looking at him like, that was weirdly friendly. But then, I'll tell you, like Ali was like messaging me like, talk trash to Wonderboy on the thing, and then don't be friends with him. You better not be friends with him. Trust me, he's gonna try to be your friend. I'm like, for me, I'm cool with Wonderboy. So like, whenever I see him in public, we're not like BFFs or anything like that, but like we're cordial, we're friendly. He's like that guy that you can't be mean to or anything like that. But like you said, this is business. I'm not here to freaking hug it out with you after the fight. All the respect in the world. I respect you even before the fight, but it's like I'm not gonna sit there and play patty cake with you before the fight. Like I have to get my mindset right. I have to get my mind right. And it's kind of like with my last fight where I got over that hump a little bit, where it's a guy that I've always watched, I always respected, a guy that's like a legend of the sport. And then it's like when I was in the cage at first with him, it's like, dang, I'm fighting Damian Maia. And I had to get over it. It's a little hump that you had to get over a little bit for me. And I felt like it helped me a lot, that one. And I think that's going to help me a lot for this one with fighting a person that you respect. And like, I'm a guy that this is just business to me. I don't have to hate you to fight you. I know it's a sport. So I don't have to build something crazy up of like, oh, Wonderboy talked about my mom or something like that. Like, it's martial arts. And I think we're two of the best to do it. And I think it's going to be a fun fight. And it's going to be a great fight for the fans. And we don't have to be the type to hype it up in a certain way. I think the styles are going to hype it up itself.
Well, all my complaining about you not having a fight on the books, this is really the one I wanted, and the date's perfect. So let's go. Is this date going to work for your boy Lou Taylor? I know he's a busy guy these days. Is he going?
He came back to the gym. Lou's out here doing so much right now.
I know.
And he came back to the gym, and I'm looking at him like, all right, show me your Wonderboy style. This dude jumps up like 3 times. He's tired. He can't breathe. He's like 250 pounds right now. It's like, all right.
Let's go. He's a little long.
You have to use your strength.
Where's Nacho?
Oh, Nacho's here. Yeah, Nacho's working right now.
Yeah,
Nacho got a fight in the books for February, so it's working out perfect for him.
Beautiful.
Perfect style. That's what I say. I always tell people that I'm working with the best. I think he's one of the best strikers in the UFC and the best striker that I've ever gone with. And we're gonna prove it because I don't need to fly out some specialist or anything like that. I think Nacho's stylistically could do anything, and he's one of those.
For those who don't know, we're talking about Bahamondes.
Oh yeah,
for those who don't,
Bahamondes. You guys saw that spinning heel kick knockout he has. He's a great matchup. I went down. I trained with Gerald Mershart. I'm getting to work with him.
He's
fighting on the same card as me. His knowledge, his brain
is fighting on the 18th.
He's fighting on the same card. Yeah, he's fighting new Russian that is coming in.
Yeah, they love giving him the Russians.
Something. He's a beast though.
He always gets those Russians, man. Oh.
Dude, yeah. I don't know. Like they just call him. Come tell you, man. It's literally like guys they'll call for fights, and then they'll see the Magomedov at the end. They're like, nah, I'm sick. You call Gerald.
Yeah.
Gerald says, yeah, when? All right, just give me a date. I don't really care the name. Sign me up. And it's going to be cool to be training with him and working with him for this fight. And I got Mike Biggie Rhodes. He was a big key in Anthony Pettis' camp for Wonderboy. I'm telling you, man, he's like one of the best guys, chameleons to all styles. He's really good. He's gonna be a big help for me too. So excited for it. And like I said, I'm just excited just to prove myself. You know, there's a lot of haters, a lot of doubters out there that are expecting one thing, but when I win this fight, there's nothing else. There's nothing else they can say. There's nothing else they're gonna do. I'm just gonna keep working my way up, and I'm gonna end the year at number 5. Next year, I'm gonna be the champion.
I love it. Right up the ladder. Hop right over those 3 spots there. It's going to be fascinating though. But this weekend we're going to see Chiesa either hold true in number 6 or not. So let's stay in your division. You know, we haven't had a show since UFC 268. That fight card. I mean, there's so much. Namajunas, Weili, there's so much to get into. But so I'm just going to start real quick because we gotta stay in your division. So let's just start right with the welterweight championship of the world. I want to get your thoughts on the fight between Covington and Usman, and a little bit after you tell me about the fight, just talk to us a little bit about what you think's happening with those guys next. And you know, maybe there'll be some waiting, but talk to me about that main event in your division a couple weeks back.
It was a great fight. For me, I thought that Usman was going to come out and outclass him. Again, I thought he was going to beat him earlier, and he dropped him way earlier. And I feel like Kobe came out a little bit kind of nervous or scared just because he'll hit and then he'll just hop right out, hop right out. And you could just tell he was nervous to do the exchanges with Usman. I don't know if the punches hurt him right away, or maybe he was just nervous from the last knockout because, you know, there's a mental hurdle you have to get over once you get knocked out by somebody, you're going against them again. And I felt like probably by like the 3rd round, he got comfortable in there. And the 4th and 5th round, he looked good. I'm not gonna lie, he showed toughness. He came back in those 2 rounds, but Usman just showed that he was way more patient. He didn't have wild throws. He wasn't coming over his legs. He showed great takedown defense. I knew that Kobe had a shoot in this fight, and he did. He shot a couple times in this fight, and he had to switch it up, and that was smart by him by trying to. But I just felt like he needed to step on the gas a lot earlier, and it showed me that Usman had a couple of weaknesses in his game because he looked like he got tired a little bit in the 4th and 5th round, and it showed me that, like, all right, well, let's shoot on him earlier. I don't care if you don't get the takedown, but it's just making him think. It's not letting him get comfortable with him be the one in charge, him one shooting on you, him the one taking the lead all the time.
And a lot of times, I don't think people are going to know what they get when they stand across the octagon from Mr. Muhammad. I just don't think you know what you're going to get all the time. Whereas some of these guys, I think you do. So the pay-per-view opener and the choice to put Chandler and Gaethje on the pay-per-view opener. Now, maybe it was done for Trevor Whitman. I don't know if that was the whole, but John and I couldn't stop talking about how, dude, starting a pay-per-view with I know they sometimes like to have it build, right? So it would be, you know, the fight right before the co-main would have some real heat, but having this fight or any big fight and the pay-per-view opener, I'm not sure I've ever been more captivated watching a round as the first round of that fight.
That was probably one of the best rounds I've ever seen. It was so good. And like, it was one of those things too, where I said that like Chandler had to be smarter this fight. I was like, I wonder if he's going to get into the hype of trying to put on the most violent fight ever, or is he going to use his wrestling, use his black belt and jiu-jitsu? We saw Gaethje's couple weaknesses in the Khabib fight where he got taken down and held down and submitted. And it was like, you can even tell in his coaches, Henry Hooft in his corner, like, you don't have to show your toughness. Be smart. What are you doing? What are you doing? But, you know, when you're in there and you get into that thing, you're in Madison Square Garden, you have all the fans going crazy. You just put a round out like that. And for you yourself, you can just tell that he's crazy too. There's like, he's not a sane guy. He's the same guy as Gaethje. Like, they're made from the same cloth where they want to go out there and bang and put on a show. They don't really care about wins or losses. As long as the crowd is happy, then they're happy. They've done their job. And for respect to both those guys, it was a war, it was a battle. There's a lot of guys saying, oh, well, I don't want to be that type of guy. Like, these guys are crazy. They're how are they going to be in 10 years or anything like that? Like, I mean, the fight 2 fights ago, he had one punch, didn't get touched by Hooker and knocked him out. And his last fight ended in the 2nd round. So it's not like they're sitting there brawling all the time. I just thought that both their styles matched up so perfectly that that's what they had to do. And like I said, I think it was just the atmosphere, being in the Garden, sold out crowd that made them want to just go crazy with each other.
Just unbelievable. And then obviously Billy Q and Shane Burgos, it's like crickets in the arena for that firefight. You know, it's just
crazy. Like, you feel bad for them because that fight would have been fight of the night on like 10 other cards. And that would have been like one of the top contender cards of the fights of the year. But people forget about it just because of the Gaethje fight was right before that. But respect to both those guys. Those guys were both nuts. Billy Q showed how tough he was because his leg was gone.
Right?
Bergo showed how tough he was by just staying in his face, how good he is in that pocket, and respect to both those guys too. I think all 4 of their stocks went up, no matter what, whether they lost or not, won. Like all their stocks went up in that fight, and I think that like for Gaethje, and you had the whole argument about who's next for the title fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's number 2 in the division, and he just put on a fight of the year candidate, and he put on a great fight. So like you can't deny the guy, and he's already coming off he already fought Poirier to a fight of the night. That was an amazing fight too. Why would you not want to see that? Him against Oliveira would be another great fight. So I know that Islam is 9-fight winning streak, right up there with the best of them. He has Khabib screaming for him to get the title fight, but it's like you can't deny a guy like Gaethje. He's number 2 already, and he earned that spot. And his only loss is to Khabib. So, like, he has to get the title shot next, I think.
100% agree. So, speaking of stock going up last weekend, let's talk about your boy, Yair Rodriguez. Okay, now, I know everyone talk about Max Holloway, right? And no, Holloway, one of the greatest of all time. I mean, but Yair Rodriguez, okay? I just want to talk about this guy. Now, you obviously know him very well. But dude hasn't fought in 2 years. Such a gifted, skilled striker. Watching this guy, like he's 29 years old. The loser of this fight, I feel like I'm looking at a future champ. This guy, if you don't know, now you know about Yair. Max, plenty of people talk about Max. Talk to me about your boy.
I was telling people the whole time. They're saying that like, oh, he's gonna be he's a plus 500, 600 underdog, and I'm like, people are sleeping on how good he is. Like, I've trained with the guy. Even in grappling and wrestling, I'm like, he keeps up with me. We're going head to head, and I'm like, man, he's so good. And just the way he moves and the way he strikes, it's a different type of strike. Like people, if you've never gone against a guy like that, or if you don't train with a guy like that all the time, even if you train with a guy like that, there is no guy like that because he's always bringing something different. His angles are different. His footwork is different. His elbows, his punches, he comes from everywhere, and he does everything so good. And it's all surprising. And I tell people it's like a video game where it's like you're pressing a bunch of buttons. You don't know what happens, but he does a move. And you're like, what did I do to do that again? But you don't remember because you just press like 10 different buttons at the same time and something just popped out. And that's what he does. And I knew that it was going to be difficult for Holloway, who's just a boxer. He has to be in boxing range to fight a guy like Yair because Yair is a kicker. And kicking range is a lot longer than boxing range. And what did it do? It made Holloway have to switch up his game. He had to shoot on him a little bit. He had 2 or 3 takedowns on him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he showed how much of a champion he is that he could switch it up like that. And you're not thinking that he's going to shoot on him. Everybody's thinking that Yair will shoot on him because he's working with Izzy Martinez. But it just showed that Yair made a champion like that switch it up. And that was him coming off 2 years. Imagine if he stayed more active and he's more comfortable in the cage. It's crazy, right?
I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I hope he's more active. And we're about to talk about the Chiesa fight a little bit later, but this is going to be Mike Chiesa's 3rd fight this year. He's been someone who's been sort of somewhat inactive at certain stages of his career. So hopefully Yair can sort of I know it's been injuries and things that he can't control, but hopefully he can flip the script and, get a quick one in and then maybe take care of someone and then the title, or maybe
you see how big his foot is though. Like
I know
for him, he like every one of his fights, he throws everything out there and all of his kicks, all of his punches, he puts it all in there. He leaves it all in there. Like you never see a Yair fight where he comes out unscathed because like he lets it all out in there. And it's like I said, he's throwing so much crazy things. It's not like he's sitting there picking his shots. He's sitting there. I'm gonna throw it to the calf 100 times. I don't care if he checks one. I'm just gonna throw it again right after that. And you can tell he probably got a couple of broken bones or at least a lot of swollenness in his feet and elbows and things like that. He throws a jumping flip in the 5th round of the fight, and you're like, dude, this guy is nuts.
Dude, and forgive me because you know who it is, but in the corner after the 4th round, it couldn't have been better advice. Couldn't have been more concise. All right, abandon everything, get totally unorthodox. Because they knew he needed a finish to win the fight. I just love
that. Izzy Martinez. Yeah, very smart. Like you tell him, like, yo, we need a finisher, we need a win. Shout out to MS right here every week. But
yes, there she is.
That's the corner you want. Like tell them like, yo, we need a finisher. That's what I want my corner to tell me every single time. In the 5th round, just keep it real with me. And that's what he did. He came out. There's a lot of guys that would have gave up when in the 3rd and 4th round when Max Holloway mounted you. Like there's guys that'll give up their neck a little bit, let you get an arm bar, put your arm bar out there. Like they act like they're trying to get out, but it's their way out of the fight. everybody always, there's a way to get yourself out of a fight without showing that you're really out of the fight, without tapping out to strikes. You leave your neck out there, let him choke you a little bit. You put your arm out there, let him arm bar you a little bit. Yair didn't show none of that. Like Max Holloway mounted him, had great top pressure, pounding him, and he still fought through. Kept trying to get up. Max Holloway had a tight guillotine, fought through it, kept trying to get up. Like when I talk about Mexican heart, that's what Yair has. And respect him. I'm excited to see who they would give him up next because there's some great matchups with him. Imagine him and Giga. Him and Giga would be crazy kicks, nuts, freaking ninja style fight. That would be amazing.
I hear you. And Giga Cater's coming up that in January. That's going to be fire. So, but dude, it's, we can talk about Yair all we want. And the fact that there's another guy who's on a little bit of a different level, a world-class level in Max Holloway. Zabit. That's true. Well, Zabit and Yair were supposed to fight. Good point. Zabit and Yair were supposed to fight forever, it felt like.
Yeah. I think Zabit's out with a couple of injuries now, or I think it was some really bad things. But yeah, now looking how good that Yair looked against Holloway, you're looking at it like everybody right away was telling him, oh, he's afraid of Zabit. He's afraid of Zabit. No fighter is afraid of anybody. And especially like Yair's style is a bad matchup for a lot of guys. So like him and Zabit, another ninja fight. And a guy like Zabit who has problems with cardio, and it showed like Yair doesn't have problems with cardio. So that would be another crazy fight.
It's interesting you talk about cardio at the NFL game last night. It's really fascinating to watch. We were sitting pretty close and watching on the sideline, just the guys coming on and off the field. And it is very clear. Some of these boys, especially the big boys, man, like play off here or there and huffing and puffing, getting to the sideline, taking a knee and needing to take the knee. I just, you guys talk about cardio all day long. And some of those guys, they gotta have a nice gut. Some of these offensive linemen, to hold a lot of weight, their cardio just isn't going to be good. Anyway, so I guess we got a fight card coming up this weekend, a couple good fights. So let's get to the picks, Mr. Merrow. So I just got to say one more time now that we've settled down, I'm so fired up that you're fighting, man, in 4 weeks. I just can't. I know Cody Merrow can't wait either. So it's going to be exciting, man. All right.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Dude, and wait. Quick thing today, you see the wrestling match between Jack Hermanson and Chimaev?
I was gonna bring it up and turn the page. That's where I did. I watched the whole thing. Did you?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, I was like, it's crazy. It's crazy how big he was, like size wise. It looks like he's long, not as thick, but he's tall.
And he's just, there was one takedown where Hermanson took him down and Khamzat sort of flipped it in that first round. But I'm telling you, man, I was saying to Cody before we came on, I just love when these guys compete. You big time UFC fighters competing outside the octagon. I love it.
It's cool. Honestly, like I'm sitting there like, man, that looked like fun. If like Chael Sonnen does it with like his grappling tournament, just put like a wrestling match in there like that. That would be cool.
Exactly.
The commentating kind of sucked in that one. Like if you do like a Chael Sonnen commentator, it'd be like a lot funner. But like that would be cool to have like grappling matches or wrestling matches with two top fighters to see where the wrestling is. That'd be cool.
There it is. And it's real. It's, it's some of this pro wrestling, I love Sagano, Junior Dos Santos, but come on. I'm not, his performance in AEW or whatever it was with Sagano, but this is just fascinating. And it's like Hermanson's still a middleweight. I know they're probably pretty similar size there. But
yeah, for me, I think that what's face is pretty big outside of camp, Chimaev. And I don't think Hermanson's one of those guys that gets super big. I agree. They're close to each other. Also, dude, you see Rory Camp.
I did.
Yeah,
the dude I was supposed to fight, he ended up winning, right?
My guy got robbed, though. We're gonna get that back.
Really? So you
watching it. It was a fun fight. It was cool just to see it.
Jared and Dean Thomas in the corner, right?
Yeah, Jared and Dean Thomas are in the corner, and then my guy's just like nuts. He came out there with a mullet on, jumpsuits on, and I'm like, bro. He was so cocky the whole time. I was like, all right, you're gonna go out. He said, I'm gonna go knock him out. And I'm like, all right, cool.
I love it.
You think so, Cody?
I don't know. Jay in the second round, I think, would have had something for him there. He was looking like the adrenaline dump was like really gassing him out there. Jay, I think with the experience of the fight game would have been ready.
Well, my father-in-law's in town right now and he's almost 80, but he was a Golden Gloves boxer, right? So, that might have been part of my thinking too. I don't want to embarrass myself there. Forget my brains. It's like, I better be able to throw a good jab. If I shadow box a little bit, my wife's like judging my jab.
There's
So-
a joke in there somewhere about stepdad and being a Golden Glove boxer, but I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah, that's a good exit.
But it's a lot harder, I think, because they're boxing inside the cage, so there was way too much space in there for them. But it was fun. It was just fun seeing them throw hands and stuff. I was like, it was a cool experience. I know my boy had like 40 people fly out for him, so it was cool for him to get to see that, get to experience that too. It was all fun and games.
I love it. So the reason I wanted to pick this Adrian Yanez Davy Grant fight is I sometimes like to talk shit, and maybe I might be even bullshitting a little bit, but I spent a lot of time with John over the past couple of days, and all I keep saying is be careful with that Davy Grant. Be careful with England's Davy Grant. Now, Yanez, I know he's a killer, but Davy Grant, you know, he won 3 in a row and then lost to Cheeto Vera, but Cheeto Vera, that's a fight of the night. This guy, Davy Grant, is a dangerous fighter, and I know Yanez is, like Belal Muhammad, kind of want to be on his way to the top. Dangerous spot here. Nobody likes Davy Grant except maybe me a little bit, because I think Yanez was a little risk. I don't know how well he mitigated that risk in his last fight, with Costa, but maybe he can just take it. He's got the chin. Talk to me.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think this would be that big. This is a big test for Yanez. We saw his last fight. Costa was piecing him up a little bit on the feet.
Mm-hmm.
Costa was long boxer. Davy Grant's a pretty long boxer, great striker. He has great kicks. And I think that Costa kind of gassed a little bit in the second round.
Definitely.
And Davy's not that guy who's going to gas. He stays in your face the whole time. And he was giving it to, his last fight too.
Yes. Cheeto, right?
Cheeto, yeah. He was giving it to Cheeto at the beginning of the fight. Cheeto was just a killer himself, and Cheeto's pretty huge. I don't think Adrian's as big as Cheeto. But, man, Adrian's hands are so good. His personality is so cool. He's just such a good kid. Like, you want to see him win.
I hear you.
For me, I'm gonna pick Adrian here, but, like, Davy's definitely a live dog here.
It's interesting what you said about the cardio. I'm going to be thinking about that as I watch that fight. All right, so it'll be interesting. But I tell you, this guy, I remember Davy Grant's like he's a coach. He's got his gym back in England. And when the fight 4 fights ago, I remember watching, I don't know who it was, but it was almost like, hey, this guy's just here for shits and giggles. And he's really making a name for himself. He beats Adrian Yanez. It's going to be an interesting conversation.
That's a big one, yeah.
Co-main event in your division. I love it. So 6th ranked Michael Chiesa, a pretty significant dog to the 14th ranked Sean Brady. Sean Brady never lost. So Chiesa had won 4 straight before the setback to Vicente Luque in August. Not certainly the worst loss on your resume, but I said earlier, I love Chiesa getting 3 fights in this year. As a fan of his, I love that he's getting a 3rd fight in. Fascinating matchup here. I think Vegas respects Brady for a reason. This is certainly going to shake up your division one way or another. Who do you have in the welterweight co-main event, Mr. Muhammad?
Yeah, this is pretty interesting because Chiesa, a lot of people were high on him his last fight. If he would have won that, they would have been calling for him to get the title shot. And he put Luque in a bad spot right away, had his back. I think that he just adrenaline dumped by trying to finish that choke way too soon. Sean Brady, I just don't think that he's fought the same type of competition as Chiesa. I thought Brady, he looked good his last fight, but against Jake Matthews, and then nobody really tough on his resume where I'm looking at it like somebody put him through the ringer. I think Chiesa matches up very well with him. I don't think Brady's going to be able to take him down as easy as he thinks. I know Paul Felder and Jared Gordon are very high on him, saying that, dude, he's strong as an ox. He's great wrestling. But I was supposed to fight him before, and I trained
I was going to say,
yeah, we were supposed to fight. He broke his thumb or something like that. But from what I've seen, I don't think there was anything special about him. And I just think that Chiesa is going to be a lot longer than him. And people sleep on Chiesa's stand-up. Chiesa's stand-up is pretty good once he lets his hands go. And he's fighting a Sean Brady who's not the best power puncher or the greatest striker. So I think that he'll be more confident in letting himself go, letting his hands go. Like his last fight, you could just tell he was a lot nervous on his feet because he's going against Luque, who has that one-punch power. And I think that put that stress on him a little bit to think that he had to force a quick finish once he got him down to the ground when he should have been way more patient. And I think with this one, there isn't that big risk on the feet. He just has to avoid going to the ground or getting taken down by Sean Brady. And I think he will. I like Chiesa here.
That's great analysis. I hope Chiesa sees that one way or another. That's great stuff there. I love that. All right. Cody, I know you agree with me. That was hot right there. That's good. It's a good breakdown. And when you take me back to that fight, your memory's a steel trap, but I don't remember the details of the fights like you for a lot of different reasons. But when you take me back like that, I love it. So main event, moving on. Women's bantamweight division, number 8, Miesha Tate number 7, Ketlin Vieira. This line's gone back and forth. Very close fight on paper. So really, this is a really big step up for Miesha Tate if her climbing the ladder back to sort of championship contention, getting another title fight. So Miesha, as you know, 5-year layoff, then disposes of Marion Renault at the Apex a couple months back. Ketlin Vieira, coming off a loss to Yana Kunitskaya back in February, she missed weight that night. Does she get in Miesha's way here? It's a close fight. Give the moneymakers a pick here. Pick them fight. Who do you got?
Yeah, it's one of those things where everybody was high on Caitlin for a while. She was that next big girl that you thought would be able to challenge Amanda Nunes because she's huge. But then she missed weight a couple times. She lost her last fight. She got pretty good stand-up. She's not bad. But for Miesha, she looks like she's in the best shape of her life. She looks in great shape. She looks like mentally a lot stronger. She knows that if she wins this fight right here, 90% chance she'll probably get the next title fight just because of how big her name is. I know she's not coming off a big name win when she beat Marion Renault in her retirement fight, but she still did finish her. She still looked good. Yep. Like I said, she's a big name where people know who she is. People want to watch her. She's fought some of the best girls in the division with Holly Holm. She fought Amanda Nunes. She's fought in Ronda Rousey. So like she could sell. And for the UFC, I think they want her to win this. And I think that she could win this if she just stays disciplined, doesn't get caught with anything on her feet. I think she'll be able to take Vieira down a little bit. I think Yana showed that she could Caitlin could be controlled a little bit in the grappling or on the cage. And I think that Miesha Tate could do the same thing. And working with the guys at Extreme Couture, I think they'll come up with a good game plan. I think she'll be able to do that type of thing.
And I think you're smart to bring up the physique because she obviously had a lot of skills in her prior career 5 years ago. And certainly I think her striking looked improved, certainly working with our boy Nixick, no shock there. But physically to me, and you talk about the cardio all day, that's where I think that's what's going to catapult her to a title, in my opinion, is what she's done with it, transforming her body. And I just have a feeling if it were to get into those later rounds, she'll be ready to go.
Yeah. I tell guys that all the time where it's like, everybody could train martial arts. Everybody could do the same thing. Like everybody could, all right, we're going to do wrestling today, jiu-jitsu today, striking tomorrow. But it's like, what are you going to do with it? What's the extra stuff you're doing? Like, are you putting the extra money into your nutrition? Are you putting the extra money into personal training? Are you doing the extra money into weights? Like all that extra stuff, that's what's going to, when it's the 3rd and 4th round and 5th round, that's when your body's tired, all that extra credit work, that's what's going to pay off. That's when you have to go back to that. Yo, did I do my extra running? Did I pay the extra money to work with a nutritionist where my body feels right? I did it the right way. I didn't just drain myself to cut the weight. Did I do the right things, stretching? Did I get the right massages? She's working in with the guys, the PI and everything that like over there now. So the recovery that you're getting, your body's not going to feel the same injuries as guys that are training in the woods and things like that. So it's a difference there. And I think that her being older now, having kids, I think she's doing all the right things and she figured it out. Cause when you take 2 years off, a lot of the time you'll take those 2 years off and you'll be like, man, I wish I would have did it this way. I wish I would have thought about this as I was doing it. And I'm seeing it now with like Paul Felder, where he'll tell me the same thing. And it's cool seeing that because he'll be like, yeah, I wish I would have did this or that. I would have changed it up that way. And I'm going to tell the younger guys that now too, because it's going to help them in their careers. Because when you're in there right now, you're excited. You're just thinking about fight. You don't care about anything else. The goal is to just make the weight. I don't care how I get there as long as I make the weight. But if you're doing it the right way, working it for the whole 6 to 8 weeks of cutting it down smart, your body's going to feel it when it comes to fight. And her body looks super good right now. It didn't look drained. It didn't look, she didn't look tired. She looks like she put on good muscle, the right muscle. It's not like bulky muscle.
Totally agree.
So I'm excited to see how she looks in fights.
Me too. So I assume no more TV gigs. You're going to stay in Chicago, not mess with anything for the next 4 weeks? Or are you flying out to Vegas on TV?
No, yeah. That was the last one I was going to do. That was it. Even with that one, I was hesitant on it because they were like, we were in the talks of getting the fight. And then I was like, you know what? Wait, I looked at the card. I was like, wait, Max Holloway and Yair Rodriguez. All right, I got to go.
I know.
Hit boy Paul Felder while I was down there. Paul was working. He's like, yeah, hit me up. We'll spar while we're down there. Paul is the worst texter in the world. Anybody who knows Paul Felder, he's the worst guy to reply to texts that you could ever meet, because he'll text you something like, hey, what's up? You'll text him back, what's up? And then he won't respond to you for the next 3 hours.
Amazing. So no sparring?
When I was out
with
there,
him last time you were out there? Or
no,
you
when I
did?
was out there, we were supposed to. Didn't reply, but I got some really good work in with Eric Nixick down there. I love working with him. That's why I love even going down there. I love getting more time down there with him just because his mindset's it's so good and he sees things that a lot of people don't see. And working with him and then getting his looks and just like the respect from him that he'll allow you to come to his gym and treat you like one of his students, treat you like one of his guys.
Absolutely.
That's why I love a guy like that because I want to learn from the best coaches. I'm not one of those guys where I think that, oh, my coach is the best. I'm only going to listen to exactly what this guy says. If I can get his knowledge, this guy's knowledge, that guy's knowledge, these guys are the top coaches in the world. So why wouldn't I? If I could learn from all these guys, it's only going to make me a better guy, a better fighter.
Absolutely. And you guys have a great connection, good vibe, good energy between the two of you. And I think that's bodes well too.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
So the Ultimate Fighting Championship just finishing the year with a bang. So after this weekend, December 4th, Jose Aldo, Rob Font. December 11th, the main event, Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira. And December 18th, Belal, remember the name, Muhammad, Wonderboy Thompson. No disrespect to Chris Dawkins and the Black Beast, but we all know what the real main event is that night. So, dude, train
I'm
well. So what, Thanksgiving, not a big dessert day, I assume, Thanksgiving, or will that be your last little splurge?
For the thing, I think I have enough time for that. And for me, like I said, I'm always training. I'm not one of those guys that needs to start cutting weight hard right away. I'm always in the gym. I'm always working out. So I could dabble a little bit.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm not a big Thanksgiving guy anyway. Like I'm a sides guy. Me too. Right, let me get some of that sweet potato casserole. Let me get some of that pumpkin pie. I love that stuff. So I could
want to make your mom happy. You want to make your mom happy. She wants you to eat. She wants you to eat dessert.
My mom is nuts. Like literally today, I went by her house and I was like, yeah, make me some. She's like, you want to make you some eggs? And I'm like, all right. So I look in the plate. There's like, she probably made at least 6 eggs and like 8 pieces of bacon. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you got to eat. You got to eat what? It's turkey bacon. I'm like, still, I'm not going to eat 8 pieces of turkey bacon. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's still 8 pieces. Like, that's the biggest thing I try to tell people. And, working with people now with like nutrition and helping them hit their goals. Like I tell them all the time, like I have cousins that'll be like, oh, I lost 10 pounds and I'm on this diet, this new diet. And I'm like, what's the diet? And they'll be like, oh, well, this is a liquid diet. And then I have one that'll be like, oh, I'm on this keto diet. And I'm like, they'll be like, oh, I lost this much weight. And I'm like, if you think about it, you're just really just cleaning up your diet. Like, you know what's healthy, you know what's not healthy. That's all you got to do. If you want to pay attention to the calories, all you got to do is eat less calories than you're burning. And people just don't understand it. They'll look at all these fad diets. They're like, oh, well, now I'm doing all this meal prepping and I've lost this much weight. I'm like, well, your meal preps are good vegetables and good protein. It has nothing to do with diet. You're just eating healthier.
And to me, with all of you, it's discipline is the number one thing. You know, like Michelle Obama said, they cook a bunch of baked goods, and Barack is as disciplined as fuck. He doesn't touch any of them because he's just a disciplined guy like all you fighters. What's that? Yeah, exactly.
You see it? It says discipline.
Yeah, exactly.
I keep it on my phone because you want to see it all the time. You have to tell yourself discipline. And I keep it as my screensaver so you know what it is. If I look at something, if I'm sitting there tired at home, I don't want to get up and go to practice. Well, be disciplined. You have to go to practice. I don't care if you're tired, you're hurt, you have a fight now. I'm pretty sure Wonderboy is working twice as hard. So I got to work 3 times as hard.
I love it. Let's fucking go. Sorry about the language. I'm all fired up. Cody, how you doing? You good? Director Mero, I know you're hanging out in the back tonight. Well, we appreciate you, Cody. So we're off next week for Thanksgiving. I think that's a typical Thursday. And then we'll be back at it the next couple, getting ready for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
Excited. Now that I got a fight, I was worked the Holloway fight. I think we could get him on the show. I think he's going to be our next guest. He has no other excuses. He has nothing coming up. You're coming off a big fight. We give him a couple weeks to rest. We're going to get Max Holloway on the show.
And Daddest man on the planet. He'll face DC. Let me know if you need me, John, to help us. That matchup has to happen.
That's going to be the matchup of all matchups.
It has to be.
I have a story. So I met DC when he came to New York, and I went up to him, no bullshit, and I was like, so I hear you play 2K, right? You think you're pretty good. He's like, yeah, what of it? I was like, I bet you a rack that you can't beat me at 2K. He's like, a rack? Like $1,000. I was like, yep. Straight hundreds. Like, you can't beat me at 2K. This guy, I bet. So DC's got plenty of reason to come on the show. DC, Max Holloway,
Is the bet a go? Is the bet a go?
What? I haven't followed up on it. But I was serious. I was like,
just send him a text.
I was like, hey, if it makes it any easier, the loser can give it to the Good Fight Foundation. Tax write off, like great type of help the kids of Lafayette.
Yeah,
love it.
I'll be there to watch it.
Well, anyway, dude, keep doing what you're doing. Tell Lou Taylor to spend as much time in that gym as he can, because I know he's a busy man. And until 2 weeks from now, Belal, remember the name Muhammad on his way to the top. I'm Jason Anik. Cody, we appreciate you. Have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving. Later.
We're going down, Wonderboy.